We are pulling out some specific ratios we analyzed to highlight differences both good and bad between Kraft Heinz and our competitors. The ratios we feel are most important to highlight are asset turnover, inventory turnover, debt to equity, and return on assets. Asset turnover and inventory turnover are both activity ratios. Asset turnover is computed by taking sales divided by total assets. The packaged food industry asset turnover is 0.92, while Kraft Heinz asset turnover is 0.22. Unilever, General Mills, and Mondelez all have asset turnover ratios that are below the industry but above Kraft Heinz. This tells us that Kraft is not as efficiently generating sales from its assets. This low asset turnover may be because the company has a substantial amount of goodwill and intangible assets on their statements, which could make the number misleading. Inventory turnover is computed by taking cost of goods sold divided by average inventory. The industry inventory turnover is 8.58, while Kraft Heinz is 6.01. And our main competitor, Unilever, is the highest out of our competitors at 10.89. This brings us to the conclusion that the company does not turn over their inventory as much as its rivals. They are below the industry average and significantly lower than Unilever. We may conclude that products are not being sold as frequently as the competition.
Debt to equity is a leverage ratio. It is computed by taking total liabilities divided by total debt. The industry debt to equity ratio is 0.11. Kraft Heinz is 0.81. The debt to equity ratios for General Mills and Unilever are both 3.19. Mondelez is 1.41. In comparison to our direct competitors of Unilever, General Mills, and Mondelez, our ratio is substantially lower. This could be contributed to our cost-cutting strategies. It means that Kraft Heinz does a good job using their capital to finance assets. Return on assets is a profitability ratio. It is computed by dividing net income by average total assets. The industry ROA is 6.87%. Kraft Heinz ROA is 4.6%. General Mills and Unilever both have an ROA above the industry average. Percentage of profit a company earns in relation to overall resources. The ROA will give us a good indication of the capital intensity of the company. This will depend on the industry, but as a rule of thumb, an ROA over 5% is generally good. Kraft Heinz is a bit below average. Increasing income would be beneficial to the profitability of the company.
We also wanted to mention that although they may not be direct competitors to our brand Kraft Heinz as a whole, smaller niche brands may be important to pay attention to. U.S. organic packaged food market has emerged in recent years. There is an increased availability in retailers and growth in organic packaged foods tripled over the last 10 years. In 2015, sales were up $2.3 billion, an increase of 14% from previous years.
Another piece of competition to pay attention to is private label brands. There are predictions that the U.S. grocery scene could potentially resemble the European grocery sector, in which private labels have a 45% share of the market.